The 710th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMA-SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we're also brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is a new social sportsbook available in 45 states. Download the Rebet app and use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match of up to $100. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing the college football and NFL seasons with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hi, Generinos. Welcome to the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, episode 710, dedicated to Strawberry Sword, one of our friends in the Discord who I think was hitting some picks. It looks like he was bragging about something. I assume it's a he because they're all he's. So this goes out to Strawberry Sword. This goes out to all of you. I am one of your hosts of this here MMA Gambling Podcast. I would be Big Body Taco Fox, and we are talking about Oktagon, one of our low-key favorite promotions to cover. We're doing back-to-back Oktagon episodes for you here. We're going to do every fight on the card. That's what you people asked for. That's what you're going to get. Every fight from Oktagon's event in München, Germany this coming weekend. Double title fights at the top of the card. So a pretty solid fight card from top to bottom. And as I said, Oktagon's one of our low-key favorite events to cover. So we are going to cover it. Yes, we will. I'm not covering it alone. I could Tapology cap it for you, but have someone who actually watches tape and stuff from people would be the one and only Daniel Gumby Vreeland. Hello.
Yeah, and this is a fun one to watch tape for. I have to say the best part about watching Oktagon, I enjoy watching LFA because I'm like, a lot of these guys I'll see in the UFC or, I'm excited about, prospects. This guy's 3-0. Let's see how much better he got. A lot of times when we get to Oktagon, they're like pretty fully developed fighters, right? Like there's not much more for some of these guys to gain, and they probably won't change too much. But the thing I love the best about watching Oktagon, and a lot of them don't come over to the UFC, right? Because they're being paid nicely in Oktagon and they're happy and all that kind of stuff. But the thing I like about watching Oktagon the best is the matchmakers, and I don't even know who the matchmakers are, right? Like they don't tout the guys' names out all the time. The matchmakers in this organization are insane. They are so good at just being like, you know what would freaking rule? You know what would be wild to watch? These two people throw down. And then they make that fight happen. And they do it so often that I'm just regularly like, when I go to watch tape, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be such a good time for as long as it lasts. And there are a lot of them on these prelims.
Awesome. That's what we like to hear. Let's just dive into it. Actually, I should tell you first, check out our merch store. I tell you pretty much every episode because people have multiple regional championships on their mantles quite often. But just in case no one has in this upcoming episode, make sure you check out our merch store. We may still be having a merch sale. It was on over the Thanksgiving weekend. Sometimes the bosses extended a bit. So check out the store regardless of sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. If at checkout, if Black Friday works for you, all one word, it's a code, you get 25% off. So check out all our cool MMA Gambling Podcast merch. Even some of our catchphrases, quote unquote, are on gear in there. So check it out if you're a super fan or not. Just check it out. All right, off to München, Germany we go. This is a Saturday event. Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern. The UFC is pay-per-view this week, right? So they will be
310.
So it'll be evening event for them. So this is good. Oktagon can lead you right into it, just like this or the Thanksgiving weekend when we had you, staying up all night. Or was that the weekend before? Anyhow, but when we had people staying up all night watching.
Well, that was the weekend before.
Weekend before, right? It all blurs into one weekend at this point in my life. But yeah, so we're going to get you covered here. You can watch LFA. It starts at 10 p.m., so you can probably sleep for a few hours. And then noon Eastern, up again in front of your screens for Oktagon 64. And that should lead you nicely into UFC 310. So München, Germany's SAP Garden, 12 Eastern is the start time. 11 bouts, and we are covering them all, starting with the prelims today. First fight on the prelims is Jan Stanovský versus Fedor Duric. Stanovský is from one of the Czech Republic is where he is from. He's up against the German Fedor, Duric, 3 5-minute rounds, 155. No odds for this. We have odds for most of the fights, but a few of the ones that were there's been a few fights that have switched around and whatnot. Both these fighters, they both lost opponents, I assume, and that's why they got put together here.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to guess where the line's going to be on this one too, because both of them were like negative 200-ish favorites. I think one was negative 185 and one was negative like 210 or something like that. So like they were right around the same number against a lower caliber of opponents. So like this actually at the end of the day might be a better fight than either of their fights were to start with.
Cool. Let's break it down. Duric is 6-0, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. This is his debut in Oktagon. He's won 3 straight fights via finish. He's 5 years younger than Stanovský, 2 inches taller. Stanovský 5-1, 3 knockouts, 1 submission, never been finished in a fight. 1-0 in Oktagon. He's won 5 straight fights. So a couple of up and coming guys hitting it off, just like you said off the top. Oktagon makes good matchups.
Yeah, and this one is really, like I said again, it's almost better that their fights got canceled, because this one is really fun from a striking perspective. Because Stanovský, you know, like he kind of uses that Thai sort of stance when he's kickboxing, and in addition to that, you know, he likes to fire off kicks and things. He likes a body lock takedown from time to time. He does like to get his grappling going. But I would say 2 things about that. Number one, I don't like how he tires after hitting 1 or 2 of them and his opponent working back up to his feet. It almost seems like wasted energy. And then number 2, I don't really like his entry into the takedowns. He sort of like leaves his face open as he's trying to get the body lock, because he's like, you can tell he's decided to switch from being a striker to a grappler. It's like that level of connection between his martial arts is not really well defined yet at this stage in his career. And that's no shade on him, because like you mentioned, they are kind of up and comers. They are some of the newer guys in this organization. So like he just sort of hasn't figured out how to blend the styles yet quite as much. And for that reason, I'm kind of on Fedor Duric here almost exclusively for that reason. You know, I actually do think he's a little bit faster and a little bit more versed on the feet. He circles better when he's pressured and in a bad spot, which I think should keep him away from the body lock takedowns of Stanovský. But also just in general, like I think his ability to just circle away, or his ability to stop a takedown and then hit you with a punch on it, is better. He blends what he's doing better together. And I think also if Stanovský is, you know, not liking what he sees on the feet, which I don't think he's going to, because I think Duric is quite a bit faster. If Stanovský is like, well, screw this, I'm going to go for the takedown, I think that gap between being a good, solid defensive striker, like he usually is, and being like all of a sudden a grappler who isn't striking defense, you know, like he isn't being defensive at all, I think it's going to get him badly pieced up here by Duric. Like, I think that's the type of thing that Duric is sort of just made to exploit. So I think Fedor Duric, just by being the person who's like a little bit more fluid, a little bit faster here, should piece up Stanovský. And I like him to take this one.
All right. And what did you say the odds? Did you say? I zoned out again, unfortunately.
I actually, so you're not in the wrong this time.
Yes.
With both of them being 2-1 favorites originally,
yeah,
you know, neither of them really being short notice guys, right? It was, you know, haphazardly thrown together. Both of them being like strike first guys with like a little bit of grappling in their back pocket. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if this was a pick 'em. I know sometimes the Oktagon odds post it like negative 120, negative 110. So like that, you know, there's a lot of juice on it. It would not surprise me if it was one of those fights. I think the books might favor Stanovský just by being an Oktagon before. But again, I don't think it will be by much. If anything, you might get Duric at like, you know, plus 115, plus 120.
And this is a free prelim fight. So make sure you check that
they
out.
They call it round 0, the round 0 prelims.
Yes. Nice. And then the rest they sell on their site, right?
I believe you can get the rest on their site. I don't know if you have to hit the pay-per-view price for the prelims, or if you can watch those free up until the main card. You might have to pay for them all, but it's only like, I mean, it's like $12. You're gonna win that on one fight anyway.
Gonna be special. He doesn't have to worry about these things, but yes, I'm sure you all will find a way to watch it. But yeah, this fight is free, so you don't have to pay any dough for that. That's the way it goes. That's what free means usually. Jeff, let's move on to our next fight, shall we? I can't just actually. This one is Tabology does have this one actually in order. Marek Bartl versus Endrit Brajshori. Sure. We'll say sure. This is the welterweight fight. Bartl from the Czech Republic. Brajshori, not from the Czech Republic. Where is that flag from?
Bosnia-Herzegovina.
Is he? Okay. See,
I think he's Bosnian. I think he's Bosnian,
really?
if I'm not mistaken.
Well, let's see what the flag says.
Oh no, it's Kosovo.
Kosovo. So no.
Yeah.
General region still. I assume. I believe you're still in the general region. Maybe we'll get some hate people telling us we're not Kosovo.
I corrected myself before you corrected me.
You did.
I'm taking credit for that.
Correct. Gumby's okay. He's okay. Don't give him any hate. Let's break it down. This is a welterweight fight. If I didn't say it already. Brajshori, as I mispronounced his name again, is 4-1, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted once. He's 2-1 in Oktagon. He has won 2 straight though. He's fight at middleweight, an inch of reach over Bartl, minus 175. So we do have odds. He is the favorite. Usually I do dog first. I screwed up. Bartl, 12-13, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out twice, submitted 3 times. He's 6-5 in Oktagon. Win over his last 3, 2-4 over his last 6. TKO win in his last fight. Used to fight at 155 and 185. 2012 pro MMA debut. 1-0 in Muay Thai. 0-1 in kickboxing. Plus 130.
So I'm going to go with Bartl here. I like the underdog. This dude is a berserker is the best way to describe the way that he fights. He gets in there and he throws absolute haymakers. Now, if you want to look at some of his past fights, his takedown defense has kind of let him down. The Teo Dunjo fight, he looked like he was having trouble figuring out how to get back up to his feet. I think in this fight, Brajshori, I don't know that he's going to want to grapple him. And also, like, Brajshori didn't look really great grappling Teo Dunjo too. You can do some Teo Dunjo MMA math if you want. There's your title, Teo Dunjo's MMA math.
If I knew how to spell it, I would.
But yeah, you're gonna have to look that one up.
Yes.
But Bartl is better at swinging on the feet. He's more likely to do damage in this fight, and I think that that's a big piece. I also think that Brajshori, if he does decide to just strike, is just like so much slower than Bartl. Like Bartl, when he starts throwing, he doesn't stop throwing. They come fast, they come furious. Might he tire out? Yes, of course. That's kind of the problem with him every time. That and his takedown defense. But like, also, I don't think Brajshori is going to exploit his takedown defense, and I also don't think he's the type of person who's going to like find an opening within all of the like craziness Bartl. So I like Bartl in this fight. I think the crazy style plays up. He's only lost to like, some pretty solid competition. Although the record doesn't look great, but that's why he's an underdog here. But I still like the berserker kind of style here. So give me Mark Bartl in some plus money.
All right. Before we move on, we'll go from a dog to a talk about underdog. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports. They got NFL, they got college football. Well, it lasts. I guess the college football still has another month about. They have got college basketball, they got MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. And you can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. Gumby, do you have a play for the people?
Sure, you're getting this on Monday. Don't. Yeah, sure. You're getting this on Monday. Yeah, of course. You're getting this on Monday. The Bulls are playing the Brooklyn Nets 8 p.m. tonight. And you got to take the higher than on Nikola Vucevic's rebounds. The Nets inexplicably often play Ben Simmons at center, which means 2 things. Number 1, he's not going to fight for rebounds. And number 2, he's going to miss a ton of shots. And both of those things lend to Nikola Vucevic rebounds. So give me Vucevic's higher than on his rebounds.
Very true. Very true. All right. Take that advice and sign up for the code MMA SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code MMA SGPN. We are brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is a brand new social sportsbook available in 45 states. A huge market for betting opportunities are available on Rebet. Easy to use and great for people in states where traditional sportsbooks may be restricted. Download Rebet in the App Store and use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $100. That's Rebet, REBET, promo code SGPN. All right, we are moving on. Aksu and Malach is next. Yes. Gökhan Aksu. He is, I should have all these countries all set for me, but I don't currently. He is from Austria, and I actually knew that. I should have just said it. He is up against another gentleman from the Czech Republic. That'd be That would be Jan Malach or Malich. It's probably Malich. 3-5 rounds, 170. This tell you about the dog first, as I'm supposed to do. Malich, Kral Severu. Kral space Severu is the nickname. Gumby, tell the people what that means.
No clue.
King of the North, what my nickname should be as well. I am, maybe that's my new name, King of the North. Taco Fox. Taco sticking. He's 17-14, 10 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out twice, submitted 8 times, 3-5 in Oktagon. He's won 2 straight and 3 of 4. He's fought at lightweight, 2013 pro MMA debut, 3 inches of height over Aksu, and a year younger, plus 105. So another tight one here, which is nice. Abinator is Aksu's nickname. 11-6-1. It sounds like he's some sort of fitness device, right? That you'd buy off TV late at night. The Abinator.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. 11-6-1. 9 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 4 times. This is his debut in Octagon. He's won 3 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. All those fights did not go the distance. They ended inside the distance. November 2023 was his last fight. He's not lost a fight since June 2022. Multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Finally, we can say it. sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Check out the code Black Friday. See if it works for you. Used to fight at lightweight, 2013 pro MMA debut, minus 138.
I'm going to be honest. I kind of struggled with this pick for a little bit just because, I like to have a complete picture of what I'm handicapping every single time I'm breaking down a fight. And I just don't know anything about what Gökhan's Aksu looks like when he's grappling. Like, I have no clue. I don't know what he looks like defensively grappling. I don't know what he looks like offensively grappling. Every single video I could find of this dude was him throwing tight hooks to people's cheeks and like knocking them down. And he looks fast and he looks quick here. I'm gonna go with him with the caveat of just being like, what if he can't grapple? Like, what if he's bad there? But he looks really good on the feet. And basically, if this is a striking match, I think he's going to be much, much more impressive on the feet because Malach, kind of wide arm heavy hooks, where, like his accuracy isn't particularly great. And I can't tell if it's just because he's trying to wind up too much on it or if he has problems like understanding and establishing range. It's one of those two. Exactly what it is, I'm not exactly sure. But both of those are bad against the guy who really likes to march forward and, puts his combinations together, hits hard, knocks people out. If Aksu throws as wide and as hard as he does and doesn't really have takedown defense, I could see him being off balance and getting taken down. I just don't. It's hard to handicap a fight where you're like, I know everything about one dimension of this fighter, and I don't know a single thing about another one. And I don't know that we'll have to see it here. Malach isn't a guy who I see shooting 1 billion takedowns. Maybe if he doesn't like what's happening on the feet, he shoots one. But I'm going to cross my fingers, hope Aksu has the takedown defense to at least hold up a little bit because he is the better striker here. So I'll take him as a slight favorite.
You could just fake it like everybody else does, even and act like you're an expert on things.
I could look up his accolades. Like, I know people hit me with this all the time, and I don't mean to throw shade at your process if you're one of these people. But like, I know a lot of people who are like, well, he is a jiu-jitsu black belt, and like,
yeah.
I just stress, like, try not to, if you don't have any views on this guy's grappling, try not to just like look up whether or not he's got like a black belt in judo, because like he could have gotten that at age 12 from like a McDojo somewhere. And, who knows whether or not it's worth anything. If he's got real accolades, like, he was a world champion wrestler and somehow I missed this, like, then maybe that's worth it. But like, try not to just use belt levels. Those belt levels are silly sometimes.
Yep, they're not all they're not all built the same for sure. It totally depends on who they train under. For sure. All right, we are to our main co-main event actually of the prelims. Always like to throw that in. No, it's not that fight. They have not updated it yet on Tapology. It is another last minute one. This light heavyweight fight. Jorick, Montagnac, Mateusz, Duczmal, right? I think we talked about Duczmal before.
Duczmal. Yeah, I don't think we have.
No, well, we talked about someone else's name who has douche in it then for sure.
You're thinking of Thunder Dushko.
Oh yes, Thunder Dushko is that's exactly what I'm thinking of. You're right. This is a light heavyweight fight. A hastily arranged last minute one. Duczmal is 3-1 with 3 knockouts. He's been submitted once, so he has never gone the distance. He owes his rounds. Short notice debut in Octagon. Those don't usually bode too well in the UFC. I don't have the stats for Oktagon, sadly. He's won 3 straight fights though. He went 1-0 in Muay Thai and won a championship in that one fight. 0-1 in pro kickboxing. Montagnac. Publius. We've talked about him before, right? Publius.
Yep.
Publius. And did we ever figure out what Publius means? It translates to publish, but that's
I thought it was the public, like he was. The man of the people, basically.
Yeah. That's I think that's what it did. If you talk about Greek or whatever, some ancient language. Yes, you're correct. 6-2 with 1 knockout. So he does give his rounds. Has he been finished in a fight? I didn't mark that down. I always like to mark that down. I didn't. Now I'm going to find out, won't I? What do you think, Gumby? Has he ever been finished, Gumby? What's your guess?
My guess is no, but I could be wrong.
Knocked out once. That's the only time. So almost. He is 5-1 in Oktagon. He's won 2 straight and 5-6. Used to fight at middleweight.
So we did break down Montagnac. I think he was supposed to fight Alexander Popik, who we're talking about tomorrow.
Okay. Yep.
On a fight. And I remember taking Jorick Montagnac before that fight got canceled. It's interesting. I think he's going to be a big favorite here. You know, I had a tough time guessing the line of the other one, but I think he should be a big favorite here just on record and, you know, the fact that the other guy's 3-2. But like Montagnac he's probably got less power than any light heavyweight I've ever seen. You know, you mentioned he's not finishing people. There's a reason for it. There's not a lot of power behind it. He also is very much land one and get the hell out of here kind of guy. One hard low leg kick to your calf and then circle for a little while. Yeah. One really stiff jab to your nose and then circle around for a little bit. He like just isn't interested in doing much more than that. He's got a little bit of wrestling that isn't bad. But for the most part, he's like very happy with his 30-27 scorecard where he can beat you up. And if you watch Duczmal, like his kickboxing is way better than Montagnac. He comes from a kickboxing background. He looks like he comes from a kickboxing background. He has some of the worst takedown defense I've ever seen in my life. You know, for a guy who is 205 pounds to be flimsily taken down the way that I've seen him flimsily taken down, like to me, there's no chance that Montagnac does not just take him down 10 seconds into this fight. If he does, it's some of the all-time lowest fight IQ I've ever seen. Because you're fighting a guy who looks like he has come straight over from Muay Thai, never actually trained MMA in the process. And you have the opportunity to just out-grapple him in a match. And like, again, Montagnac isn't a big power puncher on the feet. He's a guy who like hits you once and moves around, hits you once and moves around. So like, why would he want to duke it out with a kickboxer who's going to put combinations together and kick him in the head? Like, he should just get a body lock. I don't even think he'll have to do much with that body lock. He can muscle it. He doesn't even need the technique behind it. Duczmal will fall down. And then like he can, you know, ground. Maybe he'll get a ground and pound finish. Maybe this is the time that Montagnac gets the finish. So I'm going to go Jorick Montagnac. I'm going to guess like a 3-1 favorite here if I had to.
Duczmal will fall down is a pretty good title too, but too late. We already have the title. All right. Before we get to the very last fight we're going to break down today on the prelims, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about mybookie.ag. We are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie has been running on SGPN for years, and we appreciate it. Check out their new and improved website, great on mobile, plus props for every game and the live dealer casino. Even new early cash out options are available there. Check out the MMA lines there. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. And SGPN's power partner Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or have Rhythm build you a model. You can now track props in the Rhythm app. NFL picks, NFL props, college football, college basketball, and NBA. Rhythm has it all, including Al Horford prop bets, naturally. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RTHMM. Have you made any hot plays in Al Horford recently, Gumby?
You know, how I love my first bucket props. And you can check them all out on sportsgamblingpodcast.com, giving you 2 every single day. Was up 28 units in the month of November, 42 units overall. That's
so crazy.
It's a crazy number, right? I'm doing the work
for what it's on too. Yeah.
I'm doing the work, and I like deserve the results I get. You know, I'm not gonna toot my own horn here, but I deserve the results I get. but there should be some variance to being this successful. So I'm expecting hopefully to keep that going. But I used to be all over Al Horford, and now not so much anymore, especially now that my guy Porzingis is back.
Yeah. He's your guy, is he?
I love Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, really?
Always have loved him. He's fun to watch play. He's terrible to watch play, but he's also fun to watch play.
Yeah,
I like awkward basketball players.
Well, then
the more awkward, the better.
That works. Is he on your fantasy team, Gumby?
He's not on my fantasy team this year. No, he got snatched up too fast.
Too bad. All right, let's go to our main event of the prelims. Jamie Cordero from Germany. Jan Tabers. You said it in the pre-production show, like we really have one, but Taburceanu, you said it very good, and I did not. What's his name? I did say it kind of. Taburceanu. He's from Moldova. Jan Taburceanu. All right, let's break her down. Did I tell you the weight class? It is 185. Cordero 5-2, 1 no contest. He's knocked out 3 people. He's been knocked out himself twice. He's 4-2 with 1 no contest in Oktagon. He's taking this on short notice, I believe. I think it's around a month notice, or maybe a little less. Does that sound right to you?
I didn't know it was short notice to be.
Yeah, I saw it announced November 3rd, so I guess it's not going to be technically short notice because I only consider short notice less than a month, and by this weekend it will not be December 3rd. So forget that. And yeah, he is stepping in kind of on short notice as per than you usually would have. 1-1 with one no contest over his last 3, 3-1 with 1 no contest over his last 5. No contest came in his last fight. Used to fight at 170. He's an inch taller than Taburceanu, plus 120. And then, sorry, I realized. I thought I was done too. Then wait a minute, I haven't said anything about Taburceanu. Now that I can kind of say his name, Taburceanu is 7-2, 6 knockouts, 1 submission, knocked out once, submitted once. He owes his rounds. Damn it, 1-1 in Oktagon. He's won 3 of his last 4, including his last fight via TKO. Used to fight at welterweight, 4 years younger than Cordero, minus 163. I don't feel as bad now by not paying attention to you, because obviously you don't pay attention to me.
That pause, I thought
I know,
sure,
but you didn't even notice.
I usually know, but like it was I'm going to Taburceanu. I think for me, Cordero's a guy who loads up big on his shots. He very clearly is just trying to knock your head off most of the time. He gets really tired early in fights. I've seen him look winded in the first because of the types of shots he's thrown. And Taburceanu should be able to weather that storm and then pick him apart. Because for me, like Taburceanu, he took some of the best shots that Vlasto Seppo threw his way. And like Vlasto Seppo, and granted, Seppo wound up catching him with a second round knockout, if I'm not mistaken. But it was sort of like a accumulation one instead of, like the big shot that Seppo lands sometimes. And so for him to have taken some of the best shots that Seppo could throw his way for a whole round and just survived, and then came out the second round looking good too to start before he eventually got finished. Like if he can survive that with Vlasto Seppo, there's no way he's not surviving that with Jamie Cordero. Like he is tough enough that he can handle it. And also like he can wrestle a little bit. We saw it in the Seppo fight, and granted, Seppo doesn't have the greatest takedown defense in the world, but especially if Jamie Cordero tires himself out throwing these hooks early in the fight, I can see Taburceanu scoring those late takedowns. I could see him, sort of winning the second and third round that way, looking for a TKO when Cordero just doesn't have the energy to get back up. There's like lots of different ways he could handle that. But I think there's too many advantages for Taburceanu, especially once Cordero starts to tire out. So give me him as would you say negative 163? That's not bad looking, not a bad looking number. So I like the not roundness of it, and we'll take Taburceanu.
All right. Yes, exactly. We like our wonky odds around these parts. Oh, all right. I'll recap. Taburceanu, Montagnac, Aksu, Bartl, and Stanovský. There you go. You're set. And
Jorick.
Right. Duric. I'm sorry.
Duric.
Duric is the pick, and it's that one's about a pick'em fight. You're thinking. No, you said plus 105, but yeah,
it might get Duric as a slight dog.
Yeah. All right. You are all set, and I didn't butcher too many names, so that's always, I guess, it's not a positive. People enjoy when I butcher names. Maybe tomorrow will be the day. We're going to cover Oktagon 64's main card tomorrow. In the meantime, we shall be in the Discord chatting it up. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can also reach us through our YouTube channel, MMA Gambling Podcast. Hit us up in the comments. Twitter, X, SGPN MMA is the handle. He's Gumby Vreeland. I'm Jeff Fox, writer there, and on Instagram. Check out my Substack, moneymma.substack.com. Check out the awesome, cool articles. And if you're just cheap and you want free stuff, enter my free pick'em contest I run for every UFC event, or pretty much every UFC event, 3 a month. That's moneymma.substack.com. Gumby has Top Turtle podcast with the very exciting TBD fighters interviewed this week. So check that out. He will get someone good. I guarantee it. And of course,
I know I have interviews, but which ones I'm going to use this week, it's still up for grabs.
There you go. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Try the code Black Friday. It might still work. Who's to say? And then the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get some bonus content. Gumby, get us out of here.
I'm Data Gumby Freeland. He's Publius Jeff Fox. And we will see you tomorrow.